I hope that you guys are doing amazing wherever you are. I love doing amazing, awesome INFJ videos because I love learning not only about you guys, about all the INFJs that listen, but all the different other personality types as well. So go on and listen to all the different INFJ videos I've done, and I hope you like them. Let me know what you guys think about them. In this video, I want to do something a little bit different. I wanted to speak about how INFJs are when they're children. Specifically, how INFJ children or kids are obsessed with death and discontinuity. For example, for myself, when I was a child, first of all, I was really emotional, which was really hard for my parents to deal with because I would cry at a drop of a hat and they would get really annoyed with me because I did not know. I was still learning about myself. I was still learning. I was a child. And I wasn't taught how to deal with so much emotion and feeling that was inside of me. There was so much of it. I just felt so confused by it, How are you supposed to deal with it as a child? It's so difficult, even as an adult, to deal with it. And so as a child, you have all these emotions, and you don't know, how are you supposed to deal with it? What are you supposed to do when all these emotions come rushing at you, and your brain is filled with feelings, and you just don't know what to do, right? And so, of course, I was very emotional, and no one knew how to deal with it. Very intense, definitely very intense in everything that I did. But more importantly, as based on this video, the focus was for me about death. For some reason, I was obsessed with death. I don't know what it was. It was really interesting to me because there was a lot of fears in me as an INFJ child. When I was a child, I was afraid of everything. Afraid of everything, guys. I'm not even joking. I was afraid to take a shower by myself. I was afraid of the dark. I was afraid of eating in public. I was afraid of dancing in public. I was afraid of being in public in general, obviously. I was afraid of feeling. I was afraid of crying. I was afraid of so much. Obviously bugs and all the typical stuff, but afraid of so much, right? And it's weird because I was afraid of all these weird things, but then I was really brave in other ways where I'd be able to take a ride on a roller coaster by myself without my parents. Or I just go off on my own. I just open the door and walk around among strangers, among the neighborhood, and talk to them without any trouble at all. I'd be able to go up in front of my class and answer a question on math without any issues at all. So it's really weird. Again, a mass of contradictions. INFJs are filled with these contradictions, and obviously it starts off when we're children, right? And so there were these things within myself, all these things. I had no idea how to reconcile myself to them, right? And so contradictions, of course, and then intense feelings, but also death. I was fascinated with death. I was also really afraid of it. I was afraid that my parents were going to die and leave me by myself, and I would be alone, so alone. Because I was already very alone. I had my brother and sister to play with, but as INFJs, as children, I felt really alone. Really alone. I don't know what it is. I guess it's just something about being a child and about realizing that no one understands you and no one gets what you are about. And you feel like you have all these people around you who have no idea what's going on around inside of you, and you feel very lonely, right? Very lonely, very alone. And I was afraid that the only people I had in my life were my family, and I was so afraid, so afraid that they were going to die. I was afraid that they were going to die and they would leave me all by myself, and because I have no friends and no one to take care of me, I'd be all by myself. Now that I remember about that stuff, oh my god, I went through months where I would be afraid to go to sleep because I was afraid that they would die while I was sleeping, and I'd wake up to them dead, and I would have to be alone after that. And I wasn't just afraid that my parents were going to die, my siblings, my parents, my friends, all the people around me. I was really afraid, extremely afraid of death in general. Of course, little by little, I reconciled myself to the idea that, if they die, I can take care of myself, and it's going to be all right. But that reconciliation or that process happened very quickly and very early on for me. I think I was 14, maybe 13 or 14 when I realized, okay, that's it. It's all right. If everyone around me dies, I'm going to be all right. And so for someone like that, for such a young age, for them to reconcile themselves to the idea that, death is fine, proves to you that INFJs are really weird individuals in general, right? At that point, I realized it's all right, and I became very pragmatic about the whole situation, about death in general. If everyone around me dies, if I die, also, it's all right, it's fine. It's just a process. It's just I don't think of it as the end because I believe in reincarnation. Perhaps that's how I reconcile myself to the idea. I realize that, or I believe that, even if my parents die, they're going to come back in my life somehow. Or if I die, I'm going to come back in their life. Or I'm just going to come back in general and be able to do this whole process over again. I know a lot of INFJs who believe in reincarnation because it makes sense to them, right? Because they're old souls and they think to myself, okay, there's some people who are old souls and some people who are young souls. How does that work? It can only work if you're able to go through this process over and over again. And some people have had a lot of lives and that's why old souls. And there's some people who are young souls because they've just started. They've just begun the process of learning and understanding this whole world and their place in it, right? And so death is a big one for INFJ kids. If you have a child who's an INFJ, I wish I could tell you all the different things that you could do to make them feel better. But one or two of the main things that I would definitely say is do not tell them over and over again that they're overly emotional and to cut off their emotions. My parents did that. I love my parents to death, but unfortunately they did tell me that all the time, and I tried very hard to stop feeling. Whereas the reality is our feelings in general are one of our strengths as an INFJ. And the more we try not to feel, the more we are taking away from ourselves. And so please don't tell your INFJ child not to feel. Help them feel. Help them realize it's just a feeling. It's nothing to be afraid of. It's all right to feel. Let the intensity come through them. It's fine. If you can teach them to meditate through it, it's even better. But please try and help them through those feelings, those intense feelings. You can imagine how intense it must be for them. Even over time, I still have those intense emotions. But as an adult, I know how to deal with them. I can't imagine how I dealt with them when I was a child. Oh my God. No wonder I had so many nightmares and so many sleepless nights, right? And the next thing I would definitely say to you for your INFJ child is to talk to them about death. To make them realize that they're not alone. That if you die, if everyone around them dies, they'll still have people who will take care of them. And there'll be still people around them who are going to be friends with them, acquaintances, people that are going to be in their life. For some reason, death is a big thing for INFJ kids. We will learn on our own, obviously, but it would be nice if there was an adult who we loved in our life who could help us with that process, right? The final thing I would say for INFJs, for INFJ children, is that let them be creative. Let them figure out their place in the world. Do not direct them towards math and sciences and all that stuff. They are really smart. INFJ kids are very, very smart. And so all of them are directed into medicine or law and all of those things because they're smart. But they're also very creative, and they're going to be mostly truly happy when they are doing creative work. My parents would always tell me, you're never going to make money from this writing thing. And they were perhaps right. But I wish I hadn't given it up when I was a child. I wish I had done it even for just the sake of doing it because I loved doing it so much, right? I loved to write, but I stopped writing because I was thinking to myself, well, I'm not going to make any money from it. And my parents are telling me to go into medicine, so why am I wasting my time on this, right? I wish I hadn't done that. I wish I had just kept on writing on the side. It's all right, you can still go into medicine and all that stuff, do all that stuff, but keep on doing your creative work on the side. And I hope you as adults in your INFJ kids' life will be able to tell them not to give up on that creative side of theirs, because that's a very powerful side of theirs. The final thing is that INFJ kids know a lot more than you give them credit for. I always knew what was going on around me, even though my parents tried to tell me that, I wasn't right, or perhaps they were trying to tell me that, I was unsure or untrue. But I always knew. I always knew what they were talking about. I always knew what they were saying. I always knew how things were going on, even to the deepest level. And so, don't lie to them. They have very hard time trusting people, and so if you lie to them, they're going to have even a harder time with that. So don't lie to them. They know more than you think they know, and just try to, as much as possible, treat them as more of a adult than a child, because they're more there than here. Do you know what I'm saying? I hope this makes sense to you guys. I don't know if any of you have INFJ children, or if anyone with an INFJ child is ever going to listen to this. But I hope that it will get to some parents, and hopefully, if you're an INFJ child, perhaps listen to this. I hope that you'll be able to use this as a solace, as a balm, to realize it's all right. Everyone goes through this. Every INFJ that I know is going to go through this as a child, and so it's all right. You're not alone. Even though you feel like you're alone, you're not alone. Everything's fine. Everything's going to work out. You're going to be awesome. Everything's going to be perfect. I trust everything's going to happen for you as you wish. So just stick with it. Don't worry. Keep on going. Make sense? I hope it does. I hope that you guys have, if you guys have any questions, please message me. I'm looking forward to listen to it. And if you guys remember how you were as children, I'd love to hear from you guys. Like, how was it for you? What kind of children were you? What was it like for you? Please do message me. I'm so curious. All right? And I hope you guys have an amazing day wherever you are. I'll talk to you guys the next time around. Bye for now.